Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, bringing you to the 6th stage in my Human Revolution Give Me Deus Ex difficulty video walkthrough. And this level is entitled Moving Shadows, and it is a rather apt title because we're going to be stealthing our balls off throughout this level, and it's actually one of the easier levels to do it in, so if you've been struggling so far and not quite understanding the mechanics, this one is definitely a good learning curve. And you will get an achievement for sneaking through a level and getting the ghost bonus, because there is one for doing that. As I've mentioned previously though, you do not have to get those bonuses to get the Foxiest of the Hound achievement. You just have to make sure you do not set off any alarms or get, spotted and cause an alarm. One thing that there is a lot of confusion surrounded around and misconception is the hostile status of the guards. When the guards go hostile and it goes red as they are aware of your position, that doesn't actually mean you've set an alarm off. What it means is the guards know you're there, they know there's trouble, and they're going to set an alarm off. That by no means means, I said means twice there in rapid succession, that is not good English whatsoever. That is not for me to say continue when they're hostile and pray to God they don't set an alarm off, because that's just not the best way to solve the problem. The best way to solve it is, as soon as it says hostile and it goes red, you reload from where you've previously saved. Because if you've been saving as feverishly as I'm recommending you to, then you're not going to lose any time whatsoever. And the path I just took, by the way, while I was speaking, is probably my favourite path through this level, because the only part of it that's even remotely dangerous is when you climb up the box, because you can push the box over and it will alert the guards. Also, it can be quite tricky to jump up to that next level, but if you do it correctly, you will not alert any guards, and it is a very, very simple section. Moving swiftly onwards though into this warehouse looks a lot more intimidating than it is, because there's a lot of guards that are very close to you, there's a lot of cameras, there's a lot of movements, there's a lot of options on your path through it. And if you've unlocked the ability to go into the cloaking device this early on, you'll probably not have any real issues with this section, but this entire area is going to be done with just stealth abilities, as far as, moving and crouching and what have you, and awareness. So as soon as they start moving, you want to go over towards these boxes, use your cover to get round this little cabin, where you see those silver drums just to my right there. And then this section now, you have to climb up the ladder. And once you climb up the ladder, you're going to see me wait for a couple of seconds. And the reason why I'm waiting is because if you look at the map on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, it's a little bit difficult to see for you guys, but there are grey arrows moving, and the grey arrows signify that they're on the floor above me. And what it is one sniper, and he has a very strict pattern where he moves up and down, he looks over a balcony, and then he moves backwards. And what you want to wait for is for him to stop looking over the balcony, turn around, and start moving back. Then, if you start climbing, you should be able to get up and deal with him or stealth past him, depending on your strategy. And I do believe that I'm going to slap him, because nobody else patrols up here, nobody else has the height advantage to look up here, so you will never get this body found, unless you're very, very unlucky. So take him out. You can rob his body if you want to, but because I'm not too bothered about that kind of stuff for the purpose of the guide, I don't do it. And if you come over here, there's a lovely vent, and this vent is a lifesaver. This cuts out such a difficult section. It is unreal how useful this vent is. And if you don't know it's there, it's one of those things where you feel like a dumbass, because I found this after I'd done it the hard way. But keep going down anyway. You can explore the other vents and go to different areas if you want to. You will get little bonuses, you might find little hidden items, but if you go all the way down to the bottom and you open this, you will be at the elevator that you need to get to do this section of the game. And look at that, you didn't have to mess with the cameras, you didn't have to mess with anything. That is about as simple as it gets. You are a fucking ninja, and I love it. Something that's worth noticing as well, if you're going to be upgrading your ability to hack so that you can hack the higher end terminals, what you want to do is you want to also upgrade the hacking stealth augment, because what it's going to enable you to be able to do is it lowers the chance that you're going to be detected. And it is very, very important that you can get it to the highest it goes, because then you will barely ever get detected and every hack is a piece of piss. But I've just completely contradicted myself thanks to my crappy memory. I said I was going to do this all with stealth and tactics, but I've just bought the ability to cloak, so I tell a massive lie. I will only be doing half of this with the cloaking ability, so sorry about that. But it's just the nature of the beast. You can't remember everything. But as you come down in this elevator, this was absolutely hilarious when I first got here, because my first time through this section of the game, this next room we're about to face with the mech and all the soldiers, I went to the left, and when you go to the left there's an area where you can pick up a bunch of barrels, a bunch of pipes I think they are. It's a massive cluster of pipes, and it's a heavy lift, so you need the ability to do it. And once you've done that, there is cover to move between to get to the other side of the room and to do it very easily. The only problem is, on this run, I did not buy the upgrade so that I could lift the heavy objects, so when I tried going that way, I couldn't lift the bloody pipes, so I had to do it a completely different method. But don't worry, the method I use here does rely on the fact that you've got the stealth enhancement, but there is a path on the right of the room where you can stealth across, which is equally as effective. This is just the quickest and the best I found. So, I just got another practice point there, so I'm not going to waste about... I'm not going to muck about, should I say, and I'm going to upgrade the stealth once again so that I get a full 7 seconds per energy bar, and that is the longest that you will be able to be cloaked per energy. But anyhow, this is the original method I tried. On top of there, some combat rifle ammo, and these are the pipes. So I came over to the pipes, I couldn't jump, couldn't get over them. I was like, what the hell's going on there? I assumed you had to pick them up. You might be able to jump over them, and I was just a retard, but I thought, shit, I'm going to have to do this differently now. And I tried jumping up here to see if I could get on top. I tried a whole bunch of different things, and I was just gutted. I think it's because I didn't have the jump ability, the ability to jump 3 meters. I think that's what it was. It's not the ability to lift heavy objects, it was the jump. But either way, I was not equipped to do the game the way I did before, and it was like I'd shit my pants. It was just sudden shock in the pit of my belly, and I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh my god, I'm going to have to do it differently. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it was hilarious because everything so far had gone so smooth, and then this was just like a cock slap to the mouth of God. It was just hilarious, but never fear, it's very simple. And from the looks of this, I have an abundance of the protein bars, the Cyber Boost Pro Energy bars, if I need to get any more energy. And from now on, I'm probably going to start upgrading the ability to have more energy cells up in the top left corner there. Because one mechanic that fucked me off to high heaven was how the melee system takes away your energy. This is a guy with metal arms that could kill you with a punch, and yet he needs to recharge the ability to do so. So the strategy I use here is as soon as everybody's turned around, I move as far as I can without cloak, and as soon as I think somebody's turning around, I activate my cloak. And because I was so close to the robot, he gets alarmed, but he does not know where I am, and as soon as you get in here, turn your cloak off, restore your energy, and continue to move onwards. And these two silly bastards here are so engrossed in a conversation that they won't see you even if you crouch all the way around to the ladder. That enables you to get up here and to carry on without further incident. But yeah, it's really interesting when you have to adjust on the fly, especially on a game like this, because there are numerous ways to get through the levels, and it can be quite mind-boggling at times on what you're going to do to make it look like you meant to do it. There's a bit coming up later on where I also get to a section where I went the first time, which involves smashing a window, and I didn't have a gun to smash a window because I'm selling all my guns and all my bullets, so I couldn't break it. And I was jumping up and down on the window like an idiot trying to crack this window, and it wasn't having any of it. There was no items to throw at the window, there was nothing. And I think that's an ammo crate underneath that desk there that I just completely missed. But in the end, I just thought, fuck it. And I walked away and I jumped off the roof. And I ended up landing on a little platform on the edge of this roof that had a vent that led into the building I was trying to get into. And it was the most serendipitous piece of luck, but it turns out to be a really, really good strategy. So when all else fails, kiddies, just make it up as you go along. Sometimes it works. But what I've just done there is a very ballsy technique of getting across this room, because if you take this room slowly, going cover to cover, it will take you a good 10 to 15 minutes, because there's a lot of enemies, there's a lot of patterns for them to move across, and it's just not worth the time. So if you have your stealth ability, make sure you use it. And I just bombed it, because when you're cloaked and you run, you will alert enemies, but the only way they will become hostile to your presence is if A, your battery runs out, and if B, you touch them physically. Everything else is free game, so make sure you exploit that piece of knowledge. And for anybody wondering then, when I paused it, when my battery ran out and it came up with the noise and the red bars on the screen, I thought I'd set an alarm off, and I shit my pants, because I was in such a focused mood, I thought I'd fucked up, so I immediately went to reload, but then I looked back on the map and nobody was alerted, so luckily enough I was fine. But there was a part of me, you know, deep down in my soul where I doubt myself, that thought I might have just fucked up the Foxiest of the Hounds achievement. So yes, that was quite a tense moment, but if you explore these wards, these hospital booths, you will find various items. There's not nearly enough items in some of the rooms. There's a handful of the pocket secretaries, and I would advise that you look at them, because sometimes they do contain passwords to open computers, and for whatever reasons you don't get the code unless you read it, which to me is preposterous, but it's just how the game seems to work. But get into the elevator and ride it downwards, and it's another long one, so, you know, put your Mass Effect goggles on and prepare to wait. But we're coming up towards the first boss, and the first boss on this game is not that challenging at all. My first fight with him, I killed him with a gun, and it was a nice cat and mouse chase through the environment where we were shooting at each other. I was letting my life regenerate, I was sneaking a little bit to get the upper hand, and it was a good fight. But it was a far too challenging fight for me to advocate that method in a guide. So what I'm going to be doing here is the easiest way to beat him. I watched a video the other day and I commented on the guy's techniques. It was absolutely fantastic. I didn't even know you could do what he was doing. And in that video I'm going to explain what the guy did, because I'm going to give you a couple of different options just in case you're struggling. The one I do relies on the ability for the Typhoon and the ability to be able to use it a few times. It also relies on a little bit of luck, because when this guy gets close to you, he grabs you, and the grab is an instant kill. But there is a moment where he drops you before he finishes you off, where you can do an action, and if you do the Typhoon, you should be able to keep rinsing and repeating it so that you don't die and you kill him. But that's just a convoluted way of saying watch the next video and it will all make sense. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope it helped, and you take care now.